out there, citizens of Gotham? It's that time of year again, one of my favorite times. It puts a smile on my face. So I want you all to stay spooky.
By now there are no more screens.
Stay spooky with Chicks and Spirits.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Stay Spooky with Chicks and Spirits. I am your diabolical host, Heather, and with me always is, let me do that way.
Okay, yeah, I have to figure that out. Is your confused host, Kelly.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are in another episode of Serial Killers. And we do have a warning content up there because our guest, Chloe Landers, has done some extensive research and is not holding back on anything. She's going to give us the full stories, and we want you guys to be aware this is going to get graphic, which we probably should have been doing this, Kelly. Like, serial killers out here baking cookies and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Especially with Callista's story that one time and they put the body parts in the bag and carried them all the way to another state, eating them along the way.
Yes, yeah. And little Callista's not here with us tonight. She is getting her wedding dress alteration. So yay! So we will see her next weekend, or next week, not weekend. We don't do weekend shows. But yeah, but we had an interesting weekend. So we were out doing a tour at the Sadillac Museum, everybody. And, we had a great time. What do you think, Cal?
Awesome time. Caught some pretty remarkable evidence that we'll be showcasing soon enough. We kind of got it. We got a lot of it. And the thing that's super exciting is it's indisputable. So we'll get all that together for you guys at some point and get that out there so y'all can see what's going on over there. Sanilac, in Port Sanilac. So
yeah, and we'll be doing more tours. The COVID numbers have kind of gotten a little high, so we're taking a little bit of a break till everything calms down. But we'll definitely be bringing more tours, down the road there. So when tickets go on sale, everybody, they did sell out, and everybody was swarming to get tickets, and at the end, and they're gone. So make sure you guys, when those tickets go up, grab them because they end up going fast. So. Yeah. It's a great place.
It is. It's by far one of the most remarkable. I love the 6th. They're awesome.
And we're doing tours also at the 6th. So for those tickets too, we got a lot of stuff going on at the 6th. And
pretty remarkable place there too. Yeah. It's good stuff at both of them. I really like them both. I think they're batting, pretty even there for me. So
yeah. Well, the 6th, it's I had something run at me, so I'm a little more afraid. So far, nothing's ran at me at Sadillac, thank God. So they all go neck to neck. So hi, Callista.
Hi, Callista.
Let's put her up there. Okay, well.
She says, hey, ladies, sorry I can't be there. Aw, our little Callista.
No, little dove. So, we miss you. I hope everything's going good with your dress stuff. So. Yeah, so okay, we're going to bring our guest on, Miss Chloe Landers. She does modeling. She's also my niece, and she's a serial killer enthusiast, and she is should have been my daughter. So let's go ahead and bring her on. Hold on. Chloe on. Hi, Chloe.
Hi, Chloe.
Welcome. So tell a little bit about yourself, even though I know a lot about you.
Yeah, you do. I do model. I am currently signed with a modeling agency in Virginia. Right now, nothing interesting is going on in my life just because COVID, and I take it very seriously. I stay home. I don't do anything. I don't like going out and risking anything. So my life is pretty much at home, staying at home.
There you go. Hey, that's
Right.
good. So that's good. But see, I could bring you on like this, and you're actually doing something. So see how that works out. Had your
Yeah.
research all week.
Finally did
good.
something other than sitting at like a computer screen looking at records.
Well, with that being said, do you want to start with the first story?
Yes. So my notes are right here. So if I'm looking at, I'm sorry, because I didn't memorize everything just because there was a lot. And but
That's okay.
wanted to start with a serial killer named Timothy Spencer. If you look up serial killers in Virginia, he's like always shows up just because he played a really big part in Virginia's DNA involvement. Just because there's different sources that say different things, but he was actually, from what I've read, he was the first person to actually be convicted using DNA evidence.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so because of that, Virginia actually was able to have its own like DNA place. So like, I think all the DNA gets sent there. I don't really know how it like works out, but Virginia finally got its own DNA station, so like laboratory to get everything tested out. So that was the first one in Virginia in that state to be like set up, which is crazy actually.
Yeah, that is.
And I'll add on top of that, there was actually another man who was convicted of one of his murders, and he was actually set free because of the DNA. So they wrongly convicted somebody, and because of the DNA, this other guy got set free. Yes, in Virginia.
Yeah. So it isn't. He was never tried for it, but once the details, he did it. Like it's known that he did it, but he was never convicted or tried for it. But the person who got convicted, he spent 5 years in prison before he was exonerated from that. So he was actually the first person to be exonerated using DNA evidence.
Oh wow!
Yes. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's crazy to think like there's with DNA evidence. There's a lot of people in jail who like should not be in jail and like are getting proved that they didn't do anything based off his DNA. So it was like really, really big. It was crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Those cases, DNA's been huge and has helped out so well. You know what I mean? You think how many cases that people got away, and then when DNA came into the picture, it's like a whole nother, like me, I could never do anything. My hair falls out all over the time. Like I leave hair everywhere I go. I'd be caught all the time. I can't even get in trouble. Can't even put my hair in a bun and think I'm going to get away with something. So it's like
you can't even be a murder victim because you leave your hair and they find it.
Yeah, well, that's good. Like, at least that would be like known. They'd figure out who I was. Hopefully, that would be the time they'd be like, "Oh wait, no, we didn't find nothing." So yeah,
it's just
my luck.
But going into it, he went on like a 10-week bender of just like in 10 weeks he killed 4 people, which
you said 4 people.
4.
Okay.
So let me get my notes out. So
Tell us the story.
It was in the year of 1987. He was in a halfway house at the time, so he had gotten out of jail or prison, I believe, on robbery or burglary. I can't say it, but you know what I mean.
Burglary? Like, I say burglary. Burglary. You can tell we're related.
I can't say it. It's a hard word, but he had gotten out of jail or prison based on that crime, so he was living in a halfway house at the time. So he was caught just because he killed 3 people in Richmond and 1 in Arlington, and he was first arrested for the one in Arlington. I couldn't really find out how they knew he did it. I probably should have looked on like page 3 of Google, but I couldn't really find out where he did it. But he was convicted of all the rest of the 3 just because everything was lining up. I guess they had enough probable cause to be like, hey, look, let's just try this guy. But he killed 4 people First one is Debbie Davis. She unfortunately was killed September 18th, the night of September 18th, or the morning of September 19th. She unfortunately was found half naked in her room. She was strangled. They think it's like some type of ratchet device, and they believe she was probably sexually assaulted, unfortunately.
So that's where they take like and they twist it, like they put like a kind of twist to it. Yeah.
So I think from all the other people, he probably waited outside her house, like to get in. So, but unfortunately, she was found. I think that day she was found that day, and she was found half naked, either on the floor in her closet. I think somebody else was found in their closet, and she unfortunately didn't make it, obviously. But at the time, they didn't know who did it. But so while they're still investigating, trying to figure out who she was, like who killed her, he went from October, somewhere in October. It's either October, the night of October 2nd, or the morning of October 3rd. He killed a woman named Susan Helms. She was also found partially naked. She was found on the floor of the bedroom closet. Unfortunately, her husband found her that morning, which is really upsetting. She was also strangled, and she was also, it's either she was sexually assaulted afterwards or raped beforehand before she died. But they did have DNA evidence, which was good. But they found that he actually cut through her screen window, her second-story screen window, and got in.
Oh, wow.
Don't know how he did that.
Sometimes they would probably like hop on, you know what I mean? Like I used to, back in the day when I was a little tomboy, and my friend lived on an upper floor, Kyra, actually. Shout out to Kyra. There was, so like the building had like this pivot like this. So I would jump on one porch, jump on that little pivot, and then jump onto the next one and be like, I'm here. You know what I mean? So there is a parkour up these things because I've done it before. So second story just depends on how the setup was. It sometimes can be pretty easy to get up and, up there. So lock your screens, doors, don't matter what floor you're on.
Yeah. So that does make sense. I was also thinking probably back then they kind of like, they probably had like the New York style where they had like a little fire escape that you could climb up, just because Richmond is a really big and diverse and has a lot of different types of buildings. So it could have just had like a walkway.
Yep.
So that's what I think.
Parkour.
That's what I think. But the third person, unfortunately, was a 15-year-old girl. She was also found raped and strangled, and her cause of death was strangulation. Was
it using the same instrument type of way to strangle, or was it switching up every?
It was either like the ratchet style or like his hands, but they all died. All cause of death was strangulation. Okay. Unfortunately, the last person was Susan Tucker. She was also found raped and murdered, but she was killed around November 27th, around that time, but she wasn't found until December.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so she was left a little bit. She was also raped and she was also strangled. But yeah, so she was actually in Arlington. So the other three were in Richmond, but she was in Arlington. So the Arlington police, I can't figure out where they found like how he got convicted or how he got arrested, but they actually think he got arrested for the one in Arlington, but because everything was so similar, they were just like, okay, we're just gonna do everybody else. And so they actually found out the reason of the change of location is because he was visiting his mother for Thanksgiving. So he traveled to Arlington to hang out with his family, and then ended up killing somebody while he was there. Which I think.
What was his age?
I think he was in like his 30s or 40s.
Like, what do you think? Just one day you just think, I'm going to become a serial killer. You know what I mean? Just something snaps, and then that's it. You know?
I got some in here where I can definitely tell you it's a mental thing. Like, there's this one dude in here who I could tell is just a mental issue type deal. But with him, he's like, everything else was like he for robbery and breaking and entering. So it's just like, how do you go from that to killing and raping somebody?
Right.
Like, what goes through your head? And it's, I don't know, guys are weird. But
I do have at the very tail ends of all of this, I have a story that I'm going to share with you guys. It's going to kind of lead into our next show, but it is so insane that you guys are going to be like, oh my God. And the reason that I'm bringing this up, because you said, what goes through your mind? It's like, what makes a serial killer, right? But wait till you guys hear this story. I can't believe I even came across this, but I'll tell you, it dropped my jaw. So very interesting stuff. Sorry, Chloe, go ahead.
You're good. I was paying attention to Aunt Heather with her little...
This is my wine stopper. Look at that.
I got distracted and wiggling around.
This is my wine tonight, everybody, Witch's Brew, and that's my little wine stopper. She's diving in the bottle. So you know me, I got to go off topic for a minute. All right. Back to business, as usual. That's a cute-ass wine stopper, though, ain't it?
Yeah.
I got so confused.
We do that. We go left, right, round the corner. You know, it is what it is. Well, so then, okay, so he's on this rampage. He's killing all these women within this period of time. And then what catches him up?
I don't know. I wasn't able to find out how, like, I think maybe somebody saw him, or I couldn't really find how he got caught. It doesn't really, Wikipedia doesn't say nothing. All the other websites don't say anything. It just says that on, like, January 20th of 1988, he was arrested. But he was arrested at his mother's house, so maybe
his mama called it in, you know? Like maybe he tipped her off or, you know, started talking or saying something and she's just like, we're going to need to call this in, son. I can't, we're not going to just look past this. So who knows? And they just kept it out. That's interesting, though. Yeah, it's an interesting story.
Probably, like, somebody probably saw him walk out or, like, something eyewitness. I doesn't really say anything, but I just know that in Arlington, that's where he was caught. And so I guess he got a little too comfortable of what he was doing in Richmond and thought he could get it away with it and do the same thing he was doing. So I think he, like, slipped up by that. But when he was arrested, they saw that the first three women, they actually lived in the same, like, a walking distance from where he was staying in his safe, his halfway house. So he could walk 5 minutes to that person and kill them and just walk back and act like nothing happened. So that's part of the reason why he was arrested, because they kind of connected everything together and like, okay, well, you live near these people, you killed this person, and these people died of the same way. We're just going to get you with all these other people as well.
Yeah, instead of like drifters that they get out there and they're doing this for years because you can't connect the dots because they're just passing through. So it's a little bit harder. But it seems like all serial killers, like for the most part, seem to get too comfortable after so many that they're just like, because they're getting away with it. So they get that comfortableness that they're like, oh. And I think they start getting very sloppy and then they get caught. You know what I mean? So it's just they get an ego and get away with stuff. So that's probably what happened. So that's it. I'm glad. Is he still alive or is he dead?
He died electric chair. He's gone.
Oh, electric chair. That's a good one.
Thank God for Virginia. Woo woo. We'll give a shout out.
He's not alive.
That's a rough way to go. I would not want to go. They say the electric chair is fast. They say the electric chair is a fast way to go, but I don't know. Nah.
No, but since he was arrested in Arlington, his first trial was in Arlington, and they did use the DNA evidence. And so, like I said, he was the first person to be convicted. So because the DNA, like, basically said, like, put him at the scene, he was convicted, and he was basically put out in Arlington. Now he went to Richmond for the other people, and so they tested the DNA again for, I believe, the first victim, Debbie Davis. And so it was put him at the scene. He was put and convicted of death. And so it said that the DNA, the likelihood of it being somebody else's, is over 700 million. So they were like, it could not have been anybody else. We put you at the scene. This is you. You did this. And because of those two cases of the DNA leaking both of them, that's when they decided we're going to run his DNA against open cases and cold cases, and just to see even closed cases. Sorry, they ran it through everything, and so that's when he was put at the scene of a crime back in 1984, which Kelly had brought up, that Mr. David Vasquez, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, he was convicted and was tried of the crime for Carol Ham, who was strangled, raped, sexually assaulted, left half naked on the floor. But
isn't it amazing how DNA can do that? It's like do match, and that's it. You're busted. You know, I love it.
And so he had served 5 years of a 35 sentence, but because the DNA wasn't enough to put him, to convict him of the 1984 crime, he was never convicted for Carol Ham. But it was enough evidence for David to get let out of jail. Which I think, although she wasn't able to get her justice, he was able to get out and serve and live his life, which is very good. But he was first. That
guy was first wrongly convicted of her, and then when they ran the DNA, they were able to exonerate him, and then not charge the guy, but they had enough that he was already getting the electric chair, and they're just like, we're just gonna let it go. So at least he got out. You know, that would be awful to be sitting in jail for something you didn't do. You know what I mean? That's just but that's a sad case.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It says he has 4 victims. I think he has 5. I wholeheartedly believe that he killed Carol Ham.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to get her justice, but hopefully her family and other people know that, okay, well, even though he died and he got convicted of these other people, we absolutely know he did this.
Right.
So
that's an interesting story.
It's
interesting story. And he got what he served, got what he deserved at the end. So got some heat. Yeah. Don't play around there.
Yeah, and then David Vasquez, he was actually pardoned. Looks like a year after it came, after the DNA proved him wrong, so he was able to get out a year later. And like I said, he was the first American to be exonerated. The other 2 people, the DNA matched on one of them, but there wasn't DNA on the other person. They still convicted him of death just because of everything that's happening. They just know they don't need DNA on one of them to prove it. So he got convicted of all the women except for the Carol Ham, and so he was actually put to death, which thank God. And his mom tried to appeal she tried to appeal the death, she wanted him to go.
His mama. I mean, regardless, your mama's gonna try to save you and be like, that's not my kid, because at the end of the day, it's like you look at the mother, like we were talking about last week when I was saying there had to be signs, if a mother, she's gonna gotta admit it though, she's gonna be like, not my little angel, no, he helps me put the Christmas ornaments up, you don't want to think that your kid is got evil in him, so she's probably deny, and then he's like, Mom, it's not me, and you're just gonna go to bat for your kid. You know what I mean? I think it's just parents are never going to believe their kid is shitty, never ever. I'm still to this day, I'm sure that lady don't believe her kid. Well, I'm sure she's gone now, but I'm up to her death. I'm sure she didn't think that, her kid did anything wrong. So, I mean, hell, look at Jason, his mama was like, not my son. So, there we go.
Even after the DNA showed up, he never said I did it. He still said I didn't do it. He went to the grave saying I didn't do it. He didn't make a final statement before he died, but leading up to everything and in the trial, he was like, I didn't do it. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do it. And it's there's DNA evidence. Just admit that you did it.
No way. They're not. No one's gonna do that. And then it would be stand up to give the family some closure. Then you're already going down. But people don't. I mean, there's so many serial killers out there that they'll say they did it. They'll say they killed these people, but I'm not telling you where I put them. You know what I mean? Pure evil.
So what did it? I mean, they're sociopaths. or psychopaths. Now we use sociopath versus psychopaths, and they have no empathy. They don't have that conscience. They don't relate to human emotions. So you're never going to get from a serial killer what you're looking for. You're never going to get it. They don't care. You're like, oh, you try to appeal on their conscience, make them feel bad. They don't feel bad. They don't care. They get pleasure from killing. If it doesn't bother them to kill somebody, because think about killing. So I would feel horrible. Like I wouldn't even do it. I'd call the guy. I'd be crying. I'd call on myself. I just, excuse me, I just killed somebody. You know what I mean?
I thought I hit a possum the other night and was freaking almost devastated.
Oh my God, I see little deers hit on the road and I'm like, you poor baby. Like, I mean, it makes me all upset. And I'm like, you know what I mean? So they don't care. I mean, if you want to attribute that to pure evil, brain construction, is there a possession? You do have historically children who grow up in the same households. They have brothers and sisters. They've lived the same life. Middle-class families, no history of abuse that they can find. And they go out and they kill. Like I said, you guys wait till this last story I have to share, because you're going to be like, and this story is the one where I'm like, they're born this way. Mm-hmm. They're absolutely born this way. I don't know if it's the soul that inhibits the vehicle and that it's just an evil soul, and that's part of it.
Do you want to go into it? We're 27 minutes in on the show. If you want to go in and do your...
If they're possessed, well, I mean, I guess we can if you want to. You guys want to hear this?
Yes. Or do you want to do another one, Chloe, or you want Kelly to go?
Well, she might want to. Yeah, she's got the Colonial Parkway Murders. You're probably going to cover that one. She's got the Golden Years Killer. There's a couple good ones there in Virginia. Huh?
I actually don't have those. I was.
So you got some good.
I got 4.
Okay, what's your next one? Let's see the name. Let's hear the name.
I can give you all the names.
Go ahead.
What their name?
I have Monty Rissell. I have Melvin Rees, and then I have Charles Severance, which he's actually very recent, from 2014.
Okay. Hit us with that one, and then I'll tell the story.
Okay, there we go.
One.
Which one?
The recent one. The recent one. Hit us with...
This dude, I can tell you 100% it was mental illness. This dude had something crazy going on. I'll take what you said. He was born. There was just something going on in that man's head. Growing up, he joined a cult when he was 20. He gave basically almost all of his paycheck to that cult, and his mom basically nagged him to get out of it. And it's just, this man was crazy. So I'm thinking, honestly, his personal life is a lot more interesting than the killings, but his personal life goes into the killings, in my opinion. I think it played a big role in it. Let me get this out.
Okay.
So what's it? No, oh my God. Oh, I wrote it down in here. Okay. So he was actually killed between 2003 and 2014. He only killed 3 people, which I know I say only, it's still bad that he killed people, but the other person killed there's one of these people in here who killed 9 suspected. But prior to the killings, he basically got upset with Arlington. I believe it was Arlington. No, Alexandria. Walking Dead. He got really upset with Alexandria because Alexandria is a predominantly rich neighborhood, a rich, rich state. So I believe he moved there, but his hatred for Alexandria happened because of a child custody battle. He and this woman got together. They ended up having a kid, and I believe 1999, 2000, around that time. But she left because he was verbally abusing her. He was emotionally abusing her. She said, I need to get out. I need to take custody of this kid. I can't do this anymore. So that's exactly what she did. She went to court and to get custody. Like the dummy he is, he decided to represent himself. And apparently there's like hundreds of hours of logs of him making like sarcastic comments, like making some pleas that like basically go off to nowhere. Like he's pleading for something that doesn't make any sense, and like there's no reason for him to be pleading anything. And so he
like
basically
Officer Dewey.
Yeah. Exactly. Like,
Kelly don't even know who that is.
How does she not know?
No comment.
I know you have no clue what I'm talking about. It's a movie, of course.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. So then he's mad at this town because he doesn't like the rich town. He's pissed off that they took his kid. So he's like,
yeah. So they're like fighting for custody, and he's like, basically, he's being sarcastic. He's being rude. They're fighting for custody. The judge actually asked Sheriff Dunning, remember his name Dunning, he asked for more policemen to be brought into the court because he feared for the other people's safety just because of how erratic his behavior was. And while this was happening, while he was in the custody battle, he was also running for mayor. And he was actually running for Congress during this time. Yes, he ran for mayor.
So we have a crazy occult member. As an occult, when you're saying occult, are you saying like religious occult, I believe in God, or occult as in I believe in Satan?
Or no, sometimes they just believe in Jim, the guy that's running the cult. You know what I mean?
Like
and
Charles
everything.
Manson type cult. Like they believe this one man is like God and he'll do anything for him. Like Scientologists.
Okay. Okay. Yes, gotcha.
So, and what's crazy is that when he ran twice, he ran in 1996 and 2000 for mayor, and he ran and in 1996 after he lost the competition for mayor, he ran for Congress of the 8th district. His behavior obviously was erratic. He would show up wearing a cloak and sunglasses and being dark. He would like yell at people in 2000. Yeah, it looked exactly
doesn't
like
help. He looks like Charlie Manson. That's what Rusty says.
If you look up a picture, like if you look him up right now, it's just he's crazy. His hair is all over the place. There's a picture of him with like wide eyes and him flipping off the camera. Like he was crazy. It's just like, oh my God. But he ended up his second running. He actually ended up basically trying to stab a staff member with a flagpole, because you know, like American flagpoles, they have that sharp point at the top.
Yes.
He grabbed it and ran after somebody and tried to stab him with it during this competition of like trying to see who's gonna be mayor, and then he ended up punching somebody as well.
I mean, I'm just gonna say, like, I mean, whatever he's done, we're not talking about. But like, I would have loved to see that. Like, like I would tune into that. Like, I might actually vote for him. Like, that's like look what he's doing. He'll fight for us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Kind of like it.
The things he was talking about when they would ask him questions, his main focus was on juvenile mental health and psychiatric drug prescriptions. So every question he was given, he would follow it somehow into that topic. Like you could talk about the economy, he somehow would end with that focus. You could talk about the neighborhood, and it would somehow end up in that focus.
Yeah, like,
and it's just like
Adderall for everybody.
It was actually he wasn't even advocating for it to be used. He was advocating, like, not really advocating. He was talking about how it's getting abused. So it wasn't even like, yeah, drugs for everybody. It was like, no drugs for nobody. It's getting abused. So it's just like, it wasn't even fighting for something like that wanted people by his side. Like I would like you would like, yeah, value, let's go. No.
Yeah. So he basically has every single sign of a sociopathic narcissist. I mean, this is like, yes, across the board. Yes.
Well, and it seems like maybe somebody wanted to put him on like some medicines, and he's like, I'm gonna run for Congress and rule out medicine so there's no talk about this no more. I'm gonna make sure all medicines are banned, so when I go to the doctors, they say, well, we used to prescribe this, but it's been banned. And he's like, he's very, like,
so who does he end up killing? Who does this guy end up killing?
So he ends up killing 3 people. He ends up killing a woman. His first person he killed ended up killing Nancy Dunning, which had, like I mentioned before, the Sheriff Dunning. They believe it's somehow connected because when the judge gave the woman custody and wouldn't let him touch his kid, and Sheriff Dunning signed off on a protective order, and I believe his name was on the protective order that he signed off on it, and I believe Charles saw it, and so he was probably like, you took away my kid, I'm gonna take away your wife. So he ended up walking up to the house, knocking on her door. He opened it and he shot her and he walked away.
wow.
Yeah. It's just like, it not like literally like just shot her and walked away. And it got like a lot of, I believe the last one or the last 2 got a lot more media coverage just because it was in broad daylight. He didn't even do it at night. He did it at like 12 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and just walked up and shot her.
Wow.
And just walked away. So they believe that's why she was shot. But unfortunately, they didn't know who killed her, so they automatically went to Mr. Dunning, Jim Dunning. He obviously, they found out he didn't do it. Everybody was just like, no, that didn't happen. He had a pretty good alibi. He was waiting for her to show up for lunch, and she didn't. So they went home with his son, and they found her, and he called the police, and they obviously said, okay, well, we need to question you about what's going on. But because he had an alibi, he wasn't convicted. And unfortunately, Jim Dunning died in 2012, so he wasn't able to ever find out who actually killed her.
I'm just wondering why his lawyers didn't want to use the insanity term instead of using the I don't know what that says, useful, he is not responsible.
I don't know. Like, you can tell this man is mentally ill just the way he was acting. So I don't know why they didn't get him, like, looked at. It's crazy.
Yeah, why there wasn't a psych eval done and he was, not stable enough for a trial or, you know what I mean? Something like that.
Did the other women, did he shoot the other women too in broad daylight? The other 2 victims?
He shot a second guy. They don't think there was that much connection. The guy was involved in, I believe, the second running of being mayor. Like, I guess he agreed on a bridge being made, but Charles didn't want the bridge made. That's the only connection they can find. And so he was just, they opened up the door and he was shot.
This guy just would get pissed off and then be like,
and shoot somebody.
Yeah, like if he didn't get his way, he's gonna just go kill you. Like,
yeah. And so
I need a friend like that. Like call him up and be like, yo, this person really bothered me. And then they just go and take care of it, I'd be like, all I said was they bothered me. They got on my nerves, I
mean, I love you and stuff, but like, and I'll handle some stuff. I'll give them a good talking to. But I'm not going to be like, oh, let's go pistols blazing. You voted against whatever she wanted that day.
Emma Jean says, hey, girls, I finally could catch it.
Hey, Emma, it's a spooky girl. We're talking more serial in Virginia now. So, yeah, but no, I mean, that's crazy. But no, I love you, Kelly. And I know you might do that for me, though.
No. I don't know about, no. Now, but I mean, okay. So if I had to, I just want to get caught.
Okay. So, but shh, we can't talk about it on the podcast.
We can't talk about that. Now, if you called me up and were like, like, I mean, there's some maybe, it would depend on the situation.
This girl's on my nerves, Kelly.
Yeah, no, if the girl on your nerves, I would be like, okay, just block them. I don't think I'd go and like kill them for you.
Just take them off of Facebook and be done with it.
Right, just like,
like,
ghost them. Like, get rid of them. You know what I mean?
Show you love me. Like, oh Oh my, that's
For
like
the
that
trust
ride or
to deliver
die.
them one by one in succession to the jury, closing with the parable of the knocker, which eerily describes the manner in which Dunning, Gerby, and Lodato were killed at their front doors. Knock, talk, enter, kill, exit. Ooh, we got knock, talk, enter, kill, exit. Wasn't there another serial killer we renamed?
Ooh, probably.
I forget like the name, like it should have been called something. It was on another show. But yeah, I think we should start coming up with our own nicknames, like if they don't have a name.
Okay.
And yeah, I like that one, Rusty. So this one's going to be called the knock, talk, enter, kill, exit.
Okay, say that really fast, Kel.
Knock, talk, enter, kill, exit.
Chloe, say that real fast.
Can't do it. I'm not even gonna try.
Knock, talk, enter, kill, exit. There we go. I'm reading it. See, I'm gonna put it back up so she can read it. It's off the screen. Okay, hold on. And then she's gonna do it real fast.
Okay, ready? Knock, talk, enter, kill, exit. Oh, got it.
Yeah. See, we can do it, girl.
We can do it.
And knock, talk, enter, kill, exit. This is me not reading it because I've already read it twice, so I'll remember it for the rest of my life. But
oh my God, you're so good.
we can just like, I mean, do you know how many seconds that took? That's not even a minute killing. That's not fast.
Hi, Sarah.
Straight up, just went in.
Hi, Sarah.
Yeah, that's. Well, it just shows like his narcissism, like his, you know what I mean? Like you don't agree.
All of it does.
Oh yeah, it's but it's crazy how like she said, like it's just, I don't know, they just snap and it's like, okay, you know what? Well, I mean the guy's grabbing the flagpole, so it's kind of like there's obviously, I don't know. Let's see. So they found, here we go, Rusty again. Let's put up, there you go.
So they also found a card game in his car called Mental Disorder. For real, Rusty? Like there was a card game called Mental Disorder? For real?
Oh my gosh.
Or are you being funny?
Are you being funny or is that really a game? Because I need to play it. I need to know. Does it tell you what disorder you have at the end? It'll tell me like I'm a psychopath at the end of the game. Oh, here we go.
This story.
He created it.
Created it. See? Oh my Lord
Good
Jesus.
gravy. This guy's narcissism. Like we're not psychologists here or anything like that, everybody. We just talk about what we think. But like narcissism, like
sociopath for sure. So this guy gets convicted, and then what do they do? He also police also found a card game, Severance, created called Mental Disorder. This game is a key piece of evidence for the defense, which aims to prove to jurors that many of the Severance's seemingly violent writings were really about the creation of this and other games. So it was more about the creation of this real crazy mental disorder game. So like if I said to you, Heather, one day, I was like, oh, I got a game you want to play. It's called Mental Disorder. Would you like to play?
Would you play? I would, because it's you. I'd be like, sounds interesting. Like, what do you got going on over there? Like, freaking, come on, let's do it. Like, you know what I mean? So it all depends on the person. Like, I'm down with whatever you want to do. It's like,
all right, so I'm going to create a game called Mental Disorder, and we're going to play it, and it's going to act out in real life. How about that?
And at the end, it's going to tell me what I am, and it's going to say I'm a psychopath. I already know.
Well, no, I think at the end, it ends up with you in prison. On death row.
Can I phone a friend to get out of that? Like, like shit. I don't want to end up in prison. So no, I have to take a different path. A chance card. I need something like
a get out of jail free card.
Get out of jail free card. My lawyer knows what he's doing, knows his shit card. That's what I need. Because that's what gets you out of jail. Your lawyer's got to know his shit. The glove don't fit. You know what they say.
You must quit.
Okay, what do we got here? Rusty's on it. He knows this one good. Yeah,
he also tried seeking asylum at the Russian embassy in D.C. This dude's alone. Oh
so
my God.
Is he locked up, Chloe? Like, is he?
So what had happened? The last person he killed, there was a housekeeper in the house. So he tried to shoot her, but she thankfully survived. And so she was able to make a police sketch. And so when that police sketch was sent out, that's when he tried to run. But people saw him. They're like, no, calling the cops.
Marilyn Manson's running down the street.
And so she was able to point out after he was arrested, like, hey, yeah, this is the dude. So, but like his police sketch was sent out, and like I said, it was such a big media frenzy just because it happened in broad daylight in the middle of the afternoon. So they wanted to get this person, because if you're doing it in daylight, you don't care. Like, you don't.
Yeah. People are at the hot dog stand. He's all just running. I mean, they're on lunch, and he's just doing this craziness, running down the street crazy. Like, you're not going to get away with it. Like, come on, dude. But I don't think
he wasn't Russian. He didn't, like, from what I read, he wasn't Russian. He didn't have any type of Russian blood. He didn't have any Russian relatives. So she's like, I don't know where.
I was watching some Russian shows.
Probably.
Like, this is now me now. I'm all about Russian. Like, ugh. Yeah, that's a crazy story. So he's locked up right now.
He's locked up. In 2016 he was got life in prison plus 48 years. So he's there for the rest of his life. And like I said, unfortunately, Jim Dennings never knew who killed his wife. So he unfortunately went to the grave in 2012, not knowing who killed her.
Aww.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look this guy up on Otis. Marilyn or Rusty, since you're listening, send me a picture. I'll have it like 3 seconds. Rusty's so good. Okay, let's see. Here we go. You got that, Cal? Read that.
He was actually traveling around in Ohio, Virginia, and close states that promote his card game he created, so that he could promote his card game. He was traveling around, and he said he already sent it to you.
So everybody, I'm working on my screen is super small today, so I can't read a lot.
Go ahead, put that up there. Oh my God, he looks like a Looney Tune.
There we go. There we go.
I mean, it's kind of like, I'm looking at it right now because Rusty sent it to me. It's like a Jim Carrey mixed with Marilyn Manson. Like, that's kind of what I got going on there. Yeah.
Like, he looks like a mental patient.
I can see Jim Carrey playing him in a movie. You know what I mean? He could totally play
crazy. I believe mental illness played a big role in it, because you can't have that stuff, many stuff leading up to it, and not thinking to yourself, he's gonna kill somebody. Like, if somebody in my family had all those stuff, like all those events happening, I'd be like, hey, I would not be surprised if I got a call telling me that he killed somebody. Like, that's just.
Oh yeah, like if your like cousin is sitting there saying, like, running down, like, hey, cousin Jim was running down the road and with the flagpole, and it's like, what? And then you hear that he killed somebody. It's like, well, Jimmy was a little.
Sense, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Sent it to you too, Cal. Okay,
right. I've seen that.
We're go ahead, Cal, with your story.
All right. So, you guys are gonna love this one. So, guess who the youngest ever recorded, how young, I should say, serial killer is?
How young? Okay, it's in Virginia.
What?
Was it 18?
Nope.
What?
Okay, I'm going to say...
It's not in Virginia. No. This isn't in Virginia. This is leading up to our next show. Yes, no.
So we're leading up to the
next... But I want you guys... Yes, we're leading up to the next show, but I want you guys to guess.
Okay, well, I said 13. Sarah came in with 11.
See, if you had said killer, I would have gone, young. But, serial killer, I don't think...
Yes, serial killer.
8 years old.
I'm thinking
somebody Googled that. Who did that?
Rusty's probably got it. It's 10.
It's not 10.
Oh, he's wrong. Rusty's wrong.
He is 8 years old.
Did you say 8?
8 years old.
I said 8.
All right, so his name is Armajit Saba. 8 years old, from India, youngest known serial killer. He would strangle his victims to death, and he would prey on basically infant babies. So the first victim was an 8-month-old baby who was his own.
I'm going to stop you. We're graphic content. Remember that, everybody? Okay, go ahead, Kel.
Okay. First victim was 8-month-old baby, and this was his own sister. Okay. Second was a 6-month-old baby who was the daughter of a maternal uncle. Okay. Now, after he killed the both of them, the villagers knew that he had done this, but because it was a familial, so a family issue, they kind of turned a blind eye. Up until this lady brings her infant child to daycare. I believe this child was also about 8 months old, between 6 and 8 months old. When she returned, the baby had disappeared. Well, for whatever reason, Armajet had access to this child, so immediately they had went to him, asked him, did you have anything to do with the disappearance of this infant? And he just basically like smiled and said yes, no conscience. And he gleefully told the villagers how he strangled them, how he strangled the infant to death and led them to a shallow grave where he had buried her. And excitedly he told them, I killed her by beating her with a brick. So first he attempted to strangle the baby. The baby obviously wasn't dying fast enough or whatever. So he beat her with the brick and then got rid of the evidence and buried this baby, like where nobody would find this baby. It was so like well thought out. Yeah. So well thought out that some people were speculating that there's no way that he could, like, because this is like an adult thought process, right? How you would get rid of a child, how you would hide the evidence. Nobody's seen him take the baby. Nobody's seen anything. In any of these murders, nobody's seen anything, right? He was arrested and charged with the murder of the first infant, but not the other 2 infants because, you know, the family hadn't said anything about it. So they really couldn't prove that, even though like the family knew it was him who did it. And when he was asked how he attacked his victims, he would just smile and ask for more biscuits. Like, this is how fucking crazy this kid was. I'm sorry to swear, but my God, 8 years old. And let me tell you what, if I had an infant and my 8-year-old, you know, killed my baby, he'd be locked up. You know what I mean? No, I'd be trying to get him help. Like, that's not normal.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that, you know, we're talking about obviously another country. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right? So we're talking about another country.
Yeah, and he was only sentenced to 3 years. So he's 8 years old. So only sentenced to 3 years. So till he was 11, and then put in a children's like insane asylum, and they could only keep him until he was 18 years old. So he is currently free to roam the world right now, guys.
So did he kill more than just his sister?
Yeah, he killed his sister. He killed the other 8-month-old, who was his uncle's baby, and then the other one, which he was sentenced for, the third one. So this 8-year-old killed 3 babies within a short.
Who's the other baby? Were these all family members of
the first 2?
Okay.
Yep. And then the last one, no. And they said that he would just that he was kind of quiet. He didn't really talk a whole bunch, but that he smiled a lot. So he did this like charming, like smile. He was mimicking at that point, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I am not a shrink, but he was mimicking human behavior. He was noticing how when you approach another human, if you smile, it's inviting, it's comforting, it's warm. And he was already observing that. So, you know, somebody who smiles at you, normally you're like, oh, hi, how are you? Somebody who's like, oh, you know, resting bitch face, you don't feel approachable. You don't want to, like, you know, you're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? But if you like smile and you're happy, and he was totally mimicking human behavior. And this is a scary thing, that this kid, now hopefully he's wandering around India.
No, she said that he passed away in 2018.
Well,
what did he
I didn't get that part where he passed away in 2018. What I had read is they don't know what had happened to him. So I don't know what article Sarah's referring to, but if she found something that says, which would be great if he passed around in 2018, because could you imagine this kid like wandering the earth?
Well, how old was he when he was, not how old, like what year was it when he was convicted if he died in 2018?
I don't know. I'd have to look back at the article to see the exact years.
Okay, question Rusty's got. How old is what's the youngest American serial killer?
Now I don't know, Rusty. I didn't look that up. Tell me.
Tell us, Rusty, we're waiting. So, I mean, it comes down to it. Okay, you have a different country, an 8-year-old kid killing.
So are they born this way, or is this possession?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're born this way or
he was born in 1945. I don't know if we're talking about the same one, Sarah. In India.
In India?
Is she talking about, ask her, Sarah, tell me if you were talking about, I will give you his name, Amarajat Saba. So his name is Amarjeet, and then last name Saba, Sapa. See if that's correct.
Rusty said he was 20 when he passed.
Oh, good for him. Good for him.
Okay, yeah, because my D's look like P's. Yes.
But Rusty said the youngest American one was 12.
So serial killer as in like found people and killed them, or went postal and walked into a
what I just found out tonight, we're talking to Chloe and her boyfriend that spoke on this. Now I would think, but it's not. If somebody kills somebody like where they do a mass shooting, that's just mass. What?
Yeah, that's a mass murderer. That's not a serial killer.
Why wouldn't they also be categorized as serial killer? I mean, they're killing
over a long period of time, because a mass murderer, you're killing like a group of people technically the same time or the same day. But a serial killer, I could be considered a serial killer because I'm killing somebody Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But I wouldn't be considered a serial killer if I killed all 5 people on Monday.
Right.
Because
so that's how they categorize them. Yeah.
So then that's just you're a mass murderer. That's how it's listed.
Yeah.
Like the Unabomber. In my opinion, I believe the Unabomber is a serial killer.
So no, she said she was reading about Sada was 20 when he passed. Nope, wrong one. I'm reading about another one in India. Well, Jesus, let's not go to India, guys. Just saying, no paranormal investigations there. Thank you very much.
We're good.
We're good on India. What's going on over there? You know, what's in your water?
I think it's because it was like way back when. It was probably way back when or something that happened.
I actually believe it was pretty. That's why I was asking, because it's pretty current here. Let me see.
What are you talking about, Chloe? She's talking about something else, I think.
Oh, I was talking about the Unabomber, because in my opinion, I classify the Unabomber as a serial killer because technically he only killed 6 people on 2 different occasions. He didn't kill great mass of people. Like, he injured over a dozen people, but had he killed a dozen people, I would, in one setting, I'd be like, okay, he's a mass murderer. But he like set bombs off on 2 separate occasions. So had he killed a great amount of people both times, he then would be a serial mass murderer because he committed it twice.
So if you go over 1 killing, are you now a serial killer? If it's 2, if you hit 2, you're a serial killer? Or does it have to be 3? Okay, it's 2. So just anything over 1. Let's see.
No, he was killing. So as far as serial killings go, Amarajat Sada is the world's youngest and probably one of the most efficient and heinous killing. 3 children between 2006 and 2007. By the time he was 10, Sada had murdered 3 children in the span of 12 months, and one of them was his baby sister. So little is publicly known about the young boy he was born in 1998.
Well, Kel, remember that show? I don't know if you've seen it, Chloe. Kelly, what was that show you had me watch on Netflix? Like the little boy. I think you had
This is what he looked like. Can you guys see that?
That's cool. Yeah.
Well,
he look kind of like that?
There's this show called.
His eyes look soulless.
Kel, it's this show. I don't know. I'm sure you watched it too, Chloe, where the priest is like doing all those crying or whatever, and there's like this little boy.
Oh, God, what was the name of it?
It's like evil. I don't know what it's called, but the little boy is like bad. Like he's just bad, and the parents were like, no. And they were trying to get him help, and then like he ended up like trying to drown his sister in the pool, and then the mother just ended him and said, I don't know what happened, but he's gone and whatever. And they were just like, I mean, she just knew this kid was evil from the get-go. You know what I mean? Like, there was no help. Like,
it sounds like The Good Son.
Oh, yeah, that was a good movie, too. I like The Good Son.
What one was that?
The Good Son? Have you seen that, Molly?
Mm-mm.
With Macaulay Culkin and
You would like that. You would actually like that movie. It's very like
I'm working on the Hell House right now, and let me tell you what.
Evil. Yeah, Rusty, it is just called Evil. That's the name of the show. And
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, it's a really good freaking show, and that's one of the things on. That show, when you had me watch it, was how did I watch the show? And a lot of the topics that we do, I want to go forward is stuff from that show because it's very interesting. Is that the movie? No, it's not a movie. It's an actual show. It's on Netflix. I think it's called Evil. I'm not sure, but it's a really good show. It's got the chick from, I think, Scooby-Doo, like Velma is in it, or I don't know. I don't want to say that.
I don't know anything like that. All I know is that it's a really good show, and it has to do with like a priest and like a psychologist who team up. And who's the third one? I don't know if the other one's like a detective, but there's 3 of them. And they kind of team up and get the perspective of like a priest and the detective psychologist or whatever. It's actually a really good show. I don't really like TV much. I'm not a big TV, watcher, as you guys can tell. Like, she'll bust out with movies all the time. I'm like, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's called Evil. So yeah, it's a really good show. So like, and that little kid, that's kind of the one thing. Like, he was just, the parents would like lock him in the room, and they're like, something's wrong with him, something's wrong. And he would do that. He would just like smile out of the blue. It was all really weird with the kids. And then
so this show's this show's big focus is, are these things possession, evil, demonic, or is it really mental illness? Right. So that's kind of the concept of this whole entire series, which does lead up to our next show. Are serial killers actually possessed? Which is a very interesting thing. If y'all out there who watch us, if you want to start doing your research now for next week's show.
Well, it's going to be next week. It's going to be, we're taking next week off, and then we'll be back May 4th with
so to be May 4th show.
And Kirsten Joy. And we're going to talk about that, but we'll get in that. We'll close out and we'll talk about all that in a second. But yeah, we're coming to the end of the show, so we'll just. You got any quick stories, Chloe, real quick before we end this show?
Yeah, I can do one real quick. So I can do one on Matthew Rissell. That one, he did everything before he was the age of 18. Let's just say that he committed his first rape at 14. He was robbing, he was stealing, he was breaking and entering. He ended up going to jail for some petty crimes, and then after he got out, he dropped out of high school. He killed 4 people. The first person he killed her because his girlfriend had cheated on him, so he went and had sex with a sex worker, and he didn't like that. He didn't like that the sex worker enjoyed it and allowed him to have sex with her, so he ended up drowning her. That was one of the reasons.
He didn't like that she enjoyed it?
The sex worker, who in my head, I'm probably thinking she probably has to
making it
pretend to enjoy it.
Yeah,
like,
she
can't hate it.
I'm sure she didn't enjoy it. She was just like playing a role. I mean, how many times we have to be like, yeah, work is great. I really don't like work, but fuck. I mean,
I don't want to die, so maybe if I pretend I enjoy it, he won't kill me.
And then you die.
That's what she was thinking. Yeah. And then you die because you did enjoy it, but you didn't enjoy it. You were just pretending.
Allowed her.
Yeah.
Like the fact that
she
allowed him. He was mad because she allowed him to have sex with her. I guess he was just like, why would you open yourself up like that? Why would you enjoy it? Why would you let me have sex with you?
I got cheddar.
You made it rain, baby.
You made it rain. Like, it's my damn job. Okay, go ahead.
He ended up killing a McDonald's trainee. He was only 22 at the time. She was raped and stabbed, and then she was found in the woods. He then killed a post office worker sometime in April. He actually waited outside her house with a steak knife, and so he raped her twice and then dragged her by the feet into the woods and then drowned her in a creek.
And this kid did all of this before the age of 18.
He killed 4 people before the age of 18. He had killed somebody else, stabbed her in a wooded area, raped her, and then the last person, he stabbed her 100 times and left her by a highway.
Oh my God.
He was only caught because he did another petty crime, and then they saw that he lived in the same apartment building that that his victims had worked in or lived in as well. So they were like, hey, we're going to check your car. And so they had found fingerprints from the second victim. They found keys, wallets, a comb from the other people. And so they came up to him. They're like, hey, look, we found all this. And he was just like, yeah, I did it. I killed them. Sorry. And he's like,
sorry.
Didn't try to deny it. And so,
I stabbed him 100 times. Sorry. Oops.
Sorry.
After the 5th one, it's just like it's overkill. What are you doing? Like,
yeah, it's like it's anger, something that is riled up in that person. You know what I mean? Like
evil.
Evil. Just
Yeah.
You're just so evil. I mean, there's so many people that are just, I don't know. We'll cover that in another episode. Like,
when he was arrested, he actually got charged with abduction, rape, and murder, but he took a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to murder, and because of that, the other charges were dropped. But because of that, because of murder and everything, he still got sentenced to 5 consecutive life sentences in October of 1977. At the time, he was only 18. And while he was in prison, he's still in prison. He actually wrote a manuscript detailing each murder, like how he did it, like everything. And so he actually became eligible for parole in 1995. The first time he went to get see if he qualified, he got denied. But every single November, he gets a chance to try to get parole and take out. And every single time he's been denied.
They're like, hell no. They're like, dude, we read your book. Like, get the hell out of here, dude.
In their eyes, that's actually more of a reform because he's taking accountability and responsibility. And they'll do this, and I found God. That's part of it. So I'm responsible for my actions. I understand why I did them. I found God. And that's the avenue that they try to take.
That's fine, and you can do all that. But you ain't someone walking out and going shopping at the same time I'm going shopping.
Right? What was that, Chloe?
It doesn't say anything. Like if he, it doesn't say that he's taking accountability for anything. It's not saying that he found God. It's just him detailing everything that he did. He just wrote a book and basically bullets of what he did. He's I wish he probably would have wrote down, oh my God, I'm so sorry, blah, blah. But no, he literally just wrote, this is how I killed this person. This is every single day. It didn't leave nothing out. And it's crazy. He's now at Pocahontas State Correctional Center in Virginia. He is still alive. And they tried to bring up how his mom got divorced and remarried twice before the age of 12. And I don't think that caused anything to do with it.
No.
I'm a prime example of that. My mom was divorced and married 3 times.
Your mom was crazy. I know, because she's my sister.
You don't see me killing anybody, okay?
You're good.
Right. And that's kind of my point, is that you have children, you have families who grow up the same way, and they don't go and kill people. Okay, it's not. So,
history of mental illnesses, and they still don't do these kinds of things.
Exactly. So what kind of evil is this? What is this? Is the soul just an evil soul? Are they born that way?
I think he was just, if like the kid, if you're doing this at an age before you're even an adult, you just have a fascination with something, and you are just plain and simple evil. I believe that there's either evil people or there's not. I read a story about a person Two brothers grew up and the dad was alcoholic. One became an alcoholic and the other didn't. The guy who became an alcoholic, when asked why he was an alcoholic, he said, "Oh, because my dad was, just was in the family." The other guy who was an alcoholic said, "Oh, my dad was, I don't want to be like that." So two people grew up differently. They can grow up in the same household, but grow up differently because of their experience. It's how you take it and how you mold yourself with it. And I think his mom getting divorced and married twice is not a good enough reason to be upset about it. Yes, you can be upset, but that doesn't mean you go out and rape somebody, you kill them, you stab them. I think
that's Ted Bundy.
Evil.
Ted Bundy said that. Remember, Ted Bundy said because he found out his mom, like, he was adopted, that made him kill everybody. No, that wouldn't. You know what I mean?
Although that was in the very beginning. And if you go into a lot later on with interviews with Ted Bundy, one of his interviews, he actually states that he feels like maybe he was possessed, like something. We won't get into that now because it's going to be at a later show. But this is what makes me wonder. So when you have time to reflect, which he had at this point, many years, time to reflect and kind of understand what was happening to him and process it, and do some introspection and analyze it. Is it just that something comes over you? You're fine, you're thinking normally, everything's fine, and then all of a sudden you're this different person. It's something possesses you. Is it demon possession?
But you think, okay, so if we're talking about that, if it was demon possession, then how is it all of a sudden just gone? You know what I mean? Is it in and out? I mean, it's a very artist. Go ahead.
There's a movie. I don't know if you guys seen it or not.
I'm sure.
I'm going to spoil it anyways. Spoiler warning. There was a movie. This detective, was trying to find.
Movie?
Don't know.
She sounds like me. All right, go ahead, Chloe.
He this detective was looking for this killer. Like, there's just killings going around and everything. And what he found out at the end was that it was actually a demonic possession that was possessing these people to kill everybody. And so after they killed somebody, they would kill themselves, and that demonic possession in the spirit would then hop into that body, find somebody else, and the cycle just repeated.
Yeah, so there's actually a name for those. There is a name for those. Like, oh God, I'm trying to think of the name of it, where they're called like jumper, where they jump from one person to the other. But I mean, can it be an attachment? Sometimes an attachment may affect you. Sometimes an attachment may not. I don't know. Rusty puts, but if it was possession, why would more serial killers use that as a legal defense? Because the attorneys are going to tell them it will not work.
Yeah,
our justice system, collaboratively, all the way to the Supreme Court, does not. We've actually gone through this and researched this extensively, that they will not allow people to use demon possession as a defense.
When they do, we've never seen it. I don't think we've ever seen it work, at least in the United States.
There was a few times that it was tried, and there was no way. The judge wasn't having it. Nobody was having it. And so then this is what happens, is the lawyer, who is not concerned about it, who probably doesn't believe in demon possession, mind you, is like, okay, I'm not putting my reputation on the line and coming up with some crazy, you're demon possessed. And the one that was used, this was in one of the Warren cases, where you had the Warrens who were actually investigating and had tons of documentation, priests who came and said, yes, this is what was going on in this house. This is what happened. And they still were not allowed to use it. It was still denied. The guy was still found guilty. Yeah, so it's been tried and used.
We do have a lot of serial killers that come forth and say, that the demon, and we're going to cover this in our May 4th episode, where they come forward and say, the demon, I had demons. Demons made me do it. And that's why our episode's called The Demon Within, because we have so many serial killers that will say that. Like someone was telling me to do that, and I mean, you got Son of Sam that was saying that. Yeah. Hi, my nephew.
Hello, Martin.
Yeah, that's my brother Marty, who passed away's son. So Jamie, he says Martin Payne, but I will always call him Jamie. So hello,
hi, Jamie. I'll roll with Jamie.
He will always be Jamie to me. Hello, Jamie. So yeah, but
what gets me, sorry,
Chloe.
What gets me conflicted is that on the basis of like the demon possession, I would understand if like say like I believe a house can have a presence, can have a demonic presence. I feel like a house can give off something that we can't explain. So I would understand a little more if the demonic presence attaches itself to the house, and then the family moved in, and then he killed like the family, like somebody in the family killed
like DeFeo, like Ronnie DeFeo.
I can understand that because after he got arrested, he seemed like a normal dude. So that kind of would make more sense. I feel like that makes more sense if it wasn't a bad presence because he was
thinking like traveling, like it's not going to be attached to if you're traveling.
Yeah, that I can understand it, but I'm still not fully 100% like understand it. Like I understand it, but I don't just because.
So that being said, there are several documented hauntings where it actually attaches itself to the family. So the family will go from this house to another house to another house. They leave this one house, somebody moves in, they don't experience anything, but the family continues to experience it. So those are what they call attachments, where it's attached itself to either a person in the family, usually a child. It tends to usually go for a child. But then as a detective, if you go and you arrest a serial killer, is the serial killer going to go, yeah, when I was 8 years old, I seen this black shadowy thing and all of a sudden I started thinking weird. Do they even draw that correlation at that point? You know what I mean? So it's hard to kind of document whether these people, unless you talk to them one-on-one, and then even at that point, they could be handing you shit because a lot of them are manipulators. It's really hard to get down to it unless you're going to find a serial killer that wants to talk to you and is going to be completely honest. So, I mean, I know most serial killers are in jail, but if there's serial killers out there who haven't been arrested and you're not going to kill me and you want to talk, hit me up. Maybe you can explain something to me.
Contact Kelly Daniels on Facebook, not Heather Childers.
There's apparently a serial killer in Norfolk right now, so I gotta.
There's a serial killer where?
In Norfolk.
What's that?
Is that by you?
That's 10 minutes away from me.
Oh. Okay, so that's in Virginia.
You better be careful. Well, what about we're going over tonight, everybody. We're going over on our time, and we're just fine with that. Tell us about this current serial killer.
So there's been 3 bodies that washed up, and all female, all around the same age. So they think we're calling him the 757 killer, which I don't think it's a very catchy name. 757.
Okay, so what is he doing? We'll come up with a new name for him. What is he doing?
It just looks like that he's just like drowning them, like taking them out to the water, drowning them, letting them wash up.
The wet killer?
So is he sexually assaulting them prior? Are they finding?
They don't know. They're not releasing anything. It's new.
Okay, so they're not. Yeah, they're not going to release any of those.
Stay in your house. Stay in your house, my sweet little niece.
I don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. Don't answer your door. Keep shit locked. Don't be that person that was like, I kept my door unlocked because I just lived in a safe neighborhood. I know you're not like that, though, because we've watched too many documentaries for you to be like
my first memory of hanging out with you, Aunt Heather, was watching Freddy versus Jason. So I already know.
That's Cody's first. That's so funny because Cody's first scary movie was Freddy versus Jason. So he'll tell everybody the first scary movie I ever watched with my mom was Freddy versus Jason, and that's yours too.
When I think about my first memory of Aunt Heather, I think of you hugging me, saying, "It's fine, just watch it. It's okay."
Oh my god!
And then you grabbing my hands, like, look, his knife is going in his neck. Just look at it. I'm like,
it's awesome. But aren't you a better person now?
Yeah.
See, I molded these kids into good kids. They're not scared of nothing, but you're very aware, right?
Yes. I tell my mom this, like, even with like ghosts, I'm like, if somebody knocks on your door 3 times and there's nobody there, do not answer it. If you answer it and I'm in the house, I'm moving out. I'm never talking to you again. You had a ghost come in this house.
If
And then
something in my house tells me get out, I'm moving.
Exactly.
See, there we go. Let's see. My nephew, let's see what he said. Let's see.
He says, I feel like events like that leave a ton of negative energy that some people are affected by. Our spirits absorb all different kinds of energy, and if we're in the area with that kind of history, it could affect our way of thinking. That's what he writes.
I absolutely think that.
Yes, I would agree that it does affect us.
And that's also your cousin, Chloe, that's talking right now.
I didn't even know I had a different cousin named Martin, okay? I don't get told anything.
Jamie. I know, that's why your Aunt Heather teaches you everything. So see, yeah, that's your cousin.
Every time I go over, it's always something new. I find out different stuff.
I know, that's why I need to beat my sister. Here we go. Rusty. we'll have that.
Rusty wants to hear, I don't know if you know about the Colonial Park murders, but he says, I want to hear her thoughts on the Colonial Park murders.
Isn't that the one where they don't really know who did it?
Yes, so they don't have any idea. The first couple that was killed, all of them are very young, actually.
Yeah.
First couple, I believe was 27 years old and 21 years old. They were a gay couple, 2 women who were killed. Second couple was a 14-year-old female and 20-year-old male. Third couple was 20 years old and 18. And the fourth couple was 18 and 21. It took forever for them to find the bodies of those guys. And so there was a detective that they had asked to give I don't know if it's like an analogy on it or whatever. And of course, the 2 gay women, they were taken out of it. Okay, like he was saying, he doesn't believe that those are part of the other 3. Well, number one, I don't know what these gay women looked like. A lot of gay women don't, and this isn't, this is just a reflection of the gay community. A lot of them don't present, depending on, what they are. They kind of look male, right? So I don't know what they looked like to begin with. If one looked a little more feminine and one looked a little more male. But I absolutely believe that they're all, that the same person killed all of them. It wasn't a gay crime, a gay hate crime. There was no sexual assault involved in any of these. So the first 2 ones I was thinking, okay, this guy sees himself as being a martyr, right? The first couple is gay. The second couple, you got a 14-year-old with a 20-year-old. All right, that's a little messed up, right? So maybe he feels like he's being a martyr. He's very conservative. He has that conservative belief of, the Bible. And I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican, but I don't believe in a lot of the things that the conservatives, you can be like very right. But then you get into the third and the fourth, and they're young, but I mean, it's normal, 20 and an 18-year-old. That's right? An 18-year-old and a 21-year-old. So I don't really know. What's your idea?
I mean,
the first 2 were also Naval Academy students as well. Huh?
I don't know anything about the Colonial Park. I don't research. So what is this? Like is this a complex? I mean, what is this?
No, this is.
Isn't it like, hang on, I think I'm going to look. Isn't it just like a dark dirt road?
It's like the Colonial Parkway murders is like a road that travels from like Virginia to, I forget where the other state is. So it's like a bracket, you know what I mean? A certain area.
Yeah, it's in a wooded area. And I guess I didn't do a lot of research on it because I wanted to find people who like, I can say, hey, they got tried and convicted. It's scary, okay? There's a lot of, it's scary. So I don't know why people were out there, but it's scary. It's a long, like at nighttime, it's a long dirt road, kind of dirt, kind of gravel. At some point, it gets a road into it. It's dark. It's scary. I don't know why people would stop by it, but I can see why they would stop by it because it's not really a road people take just because it is. There's no lights. Basically your headlights are the only lights that you have going down that road at night because it's pitch black. So
now, is it a dirt road, a paved road? It's 23 miles long.
That's long. I didn't know that was long. From pictures I've seen, it looks like a dirt road, but I've only seen like pictures of it in the dark. So it could be like a paved road, maybe paved. It's been there for a while, so it's probably paved, but like cracked.
So, Rusty, should we go out there and investigate this 23-mile long road?
It's scary. Like there's so. Like,
I'm not going.
I mean, how long ago were these murders? I mean, maybe we would get
these are back in like the 1980s, I believe, like late 80s.
So I bet you if we were on this road, we might get some activity. See, Rusty would go. I'd go too. I'll go.
Well, the thing is, people actually there's like ghost adventures and ghost groups have actually gone in, and apparently they've gotten quite a lot of stuff coming through.
I bet they would. Well, Kelly, so you would do it. Like, yeah.
Okay. I would go to Hell House before I would do that one. And that's saying something.
I'm not going to Hell House. Like, there's no way in hell.
I don't like that whole wooded, like, you don't know. Like, a bear can come out of nowhere.
We went out to, oh my God. Geez, how is this leaving my mind right now? I'm gonna go to Rusty again for this. Rusty, what's the road where the witch house and it was burnt down? And God, what's the name of that road?
Yeah, see, I didn't go out there. If you notice, I do not do any of the outdoor investigating anything. Yeah, I will go into a house. But
God, what the heck? It's like a popular area too. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank right now. Let me see. If Patty was watching, because Patty went with us. Let's see. Well, Rusty will come up. It's freaking, the house isn't there no more. There was a burnt down house, supposedly. Rusty, I'm giving you a lot of information. I know you know it. It's in Michigan. Seven Gables Road. There we go. Seven Gables Road is like that. It's like very wooded. You got to walk through the area. But it's very like active out there. Like I really liked going out there. And that's where I caught that picture. It looked like an alien was in the tree. And I was like freaked out. Like, oh my God. Like, it was crazy. So I like going on these roads. When we went down to Dice Road and we were on just like the bridge, our K2 meters were like at red. We were getting so much, like it got to the point where I was like, I can't get out of my car. I know something is going to happen. Like this whole fear came over me. It was just like, it was really crazy out on Dice Road, also in Michigan. But yeah, so I would like to go out to that road.
See, the problem is that if you're not in your car, you can't really leave. If you take off running in the woods and and it's very densely wooded and like woods for miles, guess what? You are screwed. Something's going to eat you.
That road is right next to the Chesapeake Bay, I believe, maybe. So if you run, you're hitting the bay. You can't swim out to the bay and swim out to the ocean. It's either in wooded areas or
yeah.
That's why I'll go through it in like when it's daylight because I can handle it. But at nighttime, no. I'll visit you. And if you come, I'll visit you in the morning. But I will not come in.
I'll go out there at night because that's
so. Chloe and I will sit in the hotel. And we will just, BS and whatever, and we will keep our phones on in case we get a 911 call. If you guys get lost in the woods, I will call the Coast Guard.
Well, me and Rusty will be there. Rusty's got his ambulance, so we're just fine, and we'll go out in the woods and we'll be fine, and we'll
you all have fun Rusty, with that. I'll drink my monsters and chill.
I say we make this an investigation. We go on this road. I think it's a good idea.
I love to go to Virginia just to see Virginia State, so I will tour Virginia State.
And you probably got a lot of haunted stuff over there in Virginia.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
We got there's been like we have a lot of battlefields too, so like you'll get like a lot of stuff in the battlefields and like the shipyards, like the abandoned shipyards and everything. There's a lot. Crazy.
See, there we go.
Yeah, all right, let's go. When are we leaving?
Well, we're at an hour and a half. We're over the show, so we're going to end this show. This was a great show. Good job on all your research, Chloe.
Yeah.
Let me do my clapping. Hold on. Yay. Thank you for coming on. Did you have fun tonight?
I did. It's nice to talk to other people and have human interaction.
Well, we'll have to do this again. And you can contact me all the time, niece. I would just love to talk about this. So here, Rusty says, yay, Chloe. She did a good job. We need to get her out and investigate. She's an honorary
I would love-
spirit.
I tell
Yeah.
people
So we can set something up and go.
Ghost hunter.
Yes, you could come be a ghost hunter with your aunt. Like, how fun would that be? Like,
I tell everybody.
Did you see what Lisa put? What Lisa wrote? She's
go ahead.
watching Evil now because I'm tired of counting the orbs in Kelly's house. But
Yeah, she said something
you
earlier.
guys made me laugh.
Yeah,
Thank you. Made my night.
They seem like they're enjoying their time. If I feel like I say something else, they'll get
Listen,
mad.
I don't know what this is. I don't know. Like, I see it here and there. Like, as soon as she put me on and we were in like the backstage and then she put us on for a second, she was talking. I actually, from this area, seen one shoot from the, and I was like, how did you see that? And then now I'm saying, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's orbs,
She
maybe
said
it's not
something
orbs.
earlier. She said this earlier, and I wanted to put it was interesting because she said I was swatting it. What it was very interesting is I poured a glass of wine. Again, I didn't want to say nothing, but all of a sudden
I didn't see this.
Well, I poured a glass of wine, and for some reason, smoke started coming from my glass of wine. And I was like, what is going on right now? And I kind of just like went like this. But like to tell you all for real what happened to me earlier, like I'll just keep it real. I walked out of my bed, and I don't know if I'm bringing shit from places I'm going to or whatever I'm doing. I walked out of the bathroom earlier, and I took a shower, whatever. So I walked out of the bathroom, and I literally jumped and thought Cody was to the left of me because I seen a shadow person on the left of me, and I jumped back and was like, hey, and there was nobody there. But I seen something standing there, and I was like, shit, do I have a shadow person in my house now? Like, I hope to God I'm going to see
you. You wanted a good look at what you did in that shower.
I'm going to smudge my house and sage the hell out of my house tomorrow. But that freaked me. I went right into my bedroom too and shut the door. I was like, oh, not in my house, not in my house, not in my house. He said it was right before you showed the wine stopper.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look and see what you guys are talking about because I'm not. But you guys would have seen what had happened earlier. It was just the three of us because it was before the show started. And I mean, this thing was big. And I seen it come from straight and then did this one thing and then just disappear. Boom. And I'm like, and then so then my heart starts pounding. I'm like, oh my God, now I got to go to sleep in this house and I'm all by myself. I hate that's why I don't put cameras on in my house. And I don't do anything in this house because if I know, I won't sleep. I'll end up leaving. I'll go out in my car. I'll call my mom. Hey, mommy.
I don't want shit in my house either. I don't want nothing in my house. I want to be like sleep.
And if I tell you the dream that I had last night, I don't even want to tell you that. I'll tell you this dream, but I don't want to tell you this dream.
It's really weird. Sarah told me too that after she got back from Satellite, I'm pretty sure it was her too that said she had some crazy dreams. And then now I'm seeing a shadow person. I don't know what we're bringing back from Satellite, but I'm gonna have to.
I don't know, but it was involving Sanilac, and when I tell you it, you're gonna be like, "Wow, that's weird." I don't know that I was really. There was only one part of it that kind of made me afraid, but then it was like more than one. The other conversation that I was having was different, and that one was fine. But there was one where. And this may have something to do with the involvement of the church and, all of that. I won't get into detail here, but
it was intense up there. Chloe, you got to come out here to our areas and we'll take you to some places.
I'm trying to plan a trip. It's hard because Zach's work only gives him 5 days out of the year.
Yeah. That clown, crazy looking. Yeah, my clown behind me. Callista's not here, everybody. So this is my friend that's with me tonight. Is everybody?
Do you see why I'm tortured? Now look at mine. I got like pretty real flowers and lights, and look, I got lights everywhere in my house. You can look up, see all these like lights, and she's got spooky from hell. So I got to go to that spooky freaking. I don't even know how I fix this now, guys. But she's got like spooky everything. Like it's so, and here I'm just all like flowery and lights and pretty. And then I go there and I'm like, oh, it's looking at me. I'm doing one of these. Like,
is that why you want to be at your house instead of the Stay Spooky studio?
No. Honestly, it's because I have to get up at 2:30 in the morning the next morning to go to work. So that's honestly the reason.
See, you could be sitting next to me instead of my clown. So.
Yes, and I would look less creepy than that. So yeah.
What did Rusty say, Cal?
He says, sorry, would feel more at home in Heather's place than Kelly's. Kelly has too much foo-foo.
See? Right? Like, come on.
That's
This is
funny.
spooky. This is what we do. You know what I mean?
I am a little foo-foo. I'll own it. That's fine. I always have to have fresh flowers. You'll see different flowers back here every single week. They're fresh and they're always white. I like all white flowers. White roses.
You know, I didn't know that about you.
White daisies.
I'm going to show my
white.
wine stopper one more time.
Yeah. So then, you know, if I die, I want all white. Everything's got to be all white. Yeah, I don't want the splashes of color. I'm a black and white person.
Ugh, so I have to have black and white at your, like that?
No. No black, all white.
Well, funerals
I'm just saying, like, thought-wise, black and white. You know what I mean? But I do want a lot of black.
Party at your funeral? Like, that's weird.
I want, like, all white. Yeah, like.
I want everybody to come dressed as, like, Thriller. Like, everybody's going to be, like, zombies.
Great. Well, hopefully I die first because I think mine's a lot easier than me like being like, oh, by the way, like it's a wedding or something. I got to give you funeral invitations, and in order to come to the funeral, y'all need to dress like a fucking zombie.
And I gotta have like makeup artists and shit. Like,
oh Lord, have mercy.
I'm extra, you know. At least I want a Halloween theme. Like everybody's gonna come in a costume, and people will show up, and they'll be like, "No, you're not admitted. You gotta have a costume." Because you know my crazy ass will have that written down. Like that's how you gotta do it. So.
I feel like knowing you wouldn't have to have it written down. People who know you would still come up in a costume, and the people who don't come in with a costume, you'll be like, Heather would have wanted you in a costume. You don't know her as good as you think you do. You can leave.
No, yeah. You don't really know her, so you don't actually need to be here. Please leave. That is pretty
horrible. But anyways, that's never going to happen. So.
Oh, let's see. Here we go.
Can we have some gelatin skulls that look like Heather so we can act like we are eating? What is wrong with you? Oh, I'm glad you find that funny. I find nothing funny about that. I would gross out.
That's crazy awesome. That's kind of cool. Like that's never been done. You know what I mean? Like you could say that's never been done. Rusty, that's awesome. So,
yeah. This is like Kyra, take note because this is your job, not mine.
What are you talking about? My kids are already on top of it. Like Cody said, it's going to be the party of the century. I'm like, okay. Like he already said, we're going to have like water slides, dropping them into stuff. Like they already got this plan where it's going to be like a huge shindig. And I'm like, okay. So they already know how I'm trying to go out.
So like if you go out and you're like 90 years old and they're like in their 50s and they're going to do like water slides and stuff. Like
they have to.
I'm not living till I'm 90. There's nobody in my family that's lived to their 90s. So I'm clocking in at 71 that I'm hoping. So there we go.
If you make it until 90, I'll take you out myself because that's just too long. Nobody should be living that long.
Unless I'm like Betty White, leave me the hell alone if I'm like Betty White. If I'm still drinking wine and entertaining men, like whatever, then you leave me the hell alone. Betty White's doing her damn thing.
Well, Betty White's like a billionaire, so obviously she's getting that coin. She's staying alive out of spite just to get that money.
She's a cyborg. So we love Betty. All right, we're gonna end the show now. I love you, Chloe.
Chloe's gotta get to bed, so
yeah, I'm gonna put Chloe backstage. I love you, Nisi. Thank you for coming on, and everybody say bye to Chloe.
Bye, Chloe.
Okay, so yeah, we had a great show tonight. So next week we will not be on. So everybody, do not look for us next week. And we will follow up on May 4th, and we will have David Childers and Kristen Joy on with us. And we are talking about, Kelly, go. This is what you've been
talking about our serial killers demonly possessed.
Okay.
So the demon within.
The demon within. So we're talking about the demon within. We're going anywhere in the world that anybody, I'm not researching. I just listen to the story. So David, Kirsten, I'm probably saying her name wrong. I say Kristen and Kirsten wrong. Callista, they're all going to research anywhere in the world, America, anywhere else, anywhere where somebody was saying the demon made him do it. That's what we're going to be talking about. And we're also going to be talking about that show may go on also a little bit longer than an hour, but we're going to talk about the psychology a little bit. Like, we're not psychologists. We're just giving our input. So, I'll put a warning at the bottom. We are not professionals. We are just giving our opinion, but we will kind of dive into what we think when it comes to serial killers and, the psychology of it. Are they possessed? We don't know. But we're going to talk about it May 4th when we return back with Stay Spooky. So, okay, everybody, let's do it, Kelly. As always,
stay
spooky.